Hello bros, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to create speedometer animation using React Native Reanimated and SVG. Here you can see by clicking on this animate button, this animation happens here and this moves according to our arc. So in this video, I will explain how you can create any type of arc path. Okay, and we are going to use a little bit of trigonometry to create this path. So I know there are certain component that provides this feature, but they are not fully customizable and our requirements can be vary. So like it's better to create our own component. Okay, so let's move into the code. Here is our speedometer component and we are going to use SVG paths to create the arc. Okay, so let's create the path for the arc. So here is the MDN docs for creating the arc. You can see. So for that, we will use this formula here. So let's create the formula. So this would be the T, and then let's take it inside the const. Okay. So first argument is M, which represents the move to from x1, y1. Okay. So this represents where we are going to start or creating the arc. Okay. So this is the x1, y1 point. Then we will create the arc of radius x and radius y. Okay, in our case, both would be same because we are using circle. Okay, then next one is x-axis rotation. So we will have it as 0 for now. And next is large arc flag. Okay, so this would be 1 because we are going to use arc greater than 180 degree. Okay, if you need a small arc which is less than the 180 degree, then we are going to use 0 here. We will see about those arguments after we create our circle. Okay, then the next argument is sweep flag. It is basically the direction of the circle from the clockwise or anti-clockwise. So let's keep it is 0 by default, and the arc will go up to x2 and y2. Okay, now we have our path, but we need these values. Okay, so first let's create the size. Let's take the size of our circle. So size, let's take is at the 200. uh, the Okay, and then the center point of our circle is cx. So cx would be the size divided by 2, and same goes for uh, cy. Cy is also size divided by 2. So we have cx and cy, and the size and the radius would be also the size divided by 2. Okay, so now let's move to the trigonometry. Okay, so we won't use too much here, but the little trigonometry functions or like the methods we need here. Okay, so for that, let's draw this circle here. So let's suppose this is the cx and cy. Okay, so here is a cx and cy. Okay, and let's create the arc. So from here to here, so this would be our x1 y1. Okay, this would be x1 and y1, and this would be x2 y2. This would be x2 and y2. Okay, now we define the angle. Okay, so for example, let's take it as the 45 degree. Okay, so the angle is 45. Okay, same goes for this one. This one is also 45. Okay, now we will calculate the angles in the radians, but before that we are going to create this x1 and y1. So the x1 would be till here. Okay, so this is the x1 and the y1 would be till here. Okay, now how we can create the x1. Okay, so for x1 we have the simple formula. So x1 would be the total distance is cx. Okay, so this is the cx minus we are going to subtract length till here. Okay, till here. So how we can get this length? So we already know the angle here, which is 45 degree, and the radius is r. Then this length would be r cos theta. Okay, so the x1 coordinate would be r, the cx minus r, then cos, then theta, which is our angle 1. Okay, let's take it as a1. Okay, okay, so this one is r cos theta. Okay, and same goes for the y1. So y1 would be uh, the cy minus r sin theta. Okay, so we'll have the y1 here. So y1 would be cy minus r sin and a1. Okay, and same goes for x2 and y2. Okay, so this is also the 45 degree. Okay, so for x2 and y2 this would be same, cx minus r cos theta 2, which is a2, and same goes for y2. So y2 would be cy minus r sin a2. Okay, now a1 and a2. So we are going to convert these into the radians. Okay, so here this one is our 45 degree, which is the equivalent to uh, pi into 0.25. Okay, this is 45 degrees equivalent to pi into 0.25 because the value of pi is 180 degree. Okay, let me type it here. The pi will be 180 degree. Okay, so 180 multiplied by 0.25, it would be divided by 4, and we will get the 45 degrees. Okay, now, so what would be the actual value of the A1? Okay, so this is 45 degree, but this is below this line. Okay, so it already covered the pi. Okay, so the A1, the value for the A1 would be pi plus pi multiplied by 0.25. Okay, so this would be 180 plus 45. Okay, now about the A2. Okay, so what would be the value of A2? Now this is pi. Okay, and inside the trigonometry, circle has total value of total angle of 2 pi. Okay, this one is pi, and this one is pi, and we will add those two, and it would be 2 pi. Okay, now to calculate this angle A2, we will go from here to here. This would be pi, then this would be 2 pi, and then we will subtract this angle, which is 0.25. So the A2 would be total angle is 2 multiplied by pi minus pi into 0.25. Now we have all the values we need. Okay, this is 2. Okay, so we have all the values x1, y1, x2, y2, and our angles also. And so now let's go to our code and put those values in here. Okay, now let's say we need the uh, width of the arc also. Okay, so let's define the width also. It would be the stroke width. Let's take it as 20. Now we will define the mathematical functions here, which is pi. Let's take it from the math. It will be pi and cos and sine. Okay. So we have our mathematical functions. Now calculate the radius. So our radius would be size divided by 2, but we also have the stroke width. So it would be, if we want to make it dynamic, so it would be size minus stroke width divided by 2. Okay, we have our radius here. We already have cx and cy, and what we need now our a1. Okay, so const a1. Let's make it as start angle. Okay, so start angle would be, what was that? A1 would be pi plus pi into 0.25. Okay, so it would be pi plus pi into 0.25. Okay, const. Now we will take the end angle, and this would be 2 pi minus, this would be 2 pi minus pi into 0.25. Okay, now we are done with our angle. Now we need our x1 and y1. Okay, so this would be our x1. So x1 would be cx minus the radius multiplied by cos and start angle. Okay, and same goes for y1. So y1 would be cy minus r sine start angle. Okay, now same goes for x2 and y2, and this would be x2, this would be y2, and this would be and angle. Okay, now our all the values are defined. Now we will put these values in here. So this would be our x1. Okay, this would be x1, and this would be y1. Okay, this would be y1, and radius. So this would be r and r. Okay, and this would be 0 1 0, and then x2 and y2. Okay, this is x2, and this is y2. Okay, so this is the path we have created for our arc. Now let's go into the designing. So for that we already have this container. Let's give it the color, background color is black. Okay, now let's create the SVG. Okay, so here is SVG. Okay, now we will give the width and height to our SVG, which would be the size, and same goes for height, also be size. Okay, so we have provided the size. Now create the path. So we already have defined our path here. So let's add those values into that path. Okay, now first we will fill it with none. Okay, now the stroke color, so that would be like, we can give it the gray color, E8. Okay, this would be stroke. Now stroke dash array. So for the safer side, we will use the circumference. So how we can create the circumference? So circumference would be the total angle, uh, which we are creating our path, and multiply by radius. Okay, so for full circle it would be 2 pi r, and for the particular arc it would be the angle of the arc and multiply by radius. Okay, so let's take the variable here, uh, circumference r multiplied by total angle. So what would be the total angle? Okay, so let's take the A as a total angle. So here in this we have this 45. This angle is 45, then pi, then 45. Okay, so we will add those three angles. So it is 0.25 plus pi plus 0.25. So it would be pi plus 0.5 pi. Okay, so it would be pi plus 0.5 multiplied by pi. Okay, it is total angle, and circumference would be radius into angle. Okay, and the dash array would be circumference to circumference. Okay, so so what is the dash array? We can see with the example here. Okay, you can see this is the stroke dash array. So here you can see if we do not provide any stroke dash here, then this it is a straight line. If we provide the 4, then it is dividing the x2 by 4 and creating the gap for the 4 units. Okay, so in our case we are giving the straight dash array of the circumference, okay, to be the safer side. Okay, so this is our stroke dash array. Now we will provide the path here. Okay, let's give the path into t, and also the, okay, let's see. Okay, so this is the path we have created. It is working totally fine. Okay, now we can give the stroke width also. Okay, just pass the stroke width. Okay, now you can see the arc here. Now we will create one more path for the filling this particular arc. Okay, so let's create the path same as this one, but we also have to make it animated. So let's take the animated path, and let's import it from animated dot create animated component and pass the path here. Okay, so this would be our animated path. And what we are going to animate here, so we are going to animate the uh, stroke dash offset. Okay, so what is the offset? Okay, so from here we can understand the offset. Okay, uh, so if we do not provide any offset, okay, this is not printing here. Okay, let it reload. Okay, okay, why it is not loading? Okay, now you can see if we provide the dash offset as 3, then it will fill, it will give the offset here. It will move our actual line uh, to the 3 points. Okay, so here you can see now for to visualize this, let's create the any like the linear gradient for our this path. So we will make the stroke as the linear gradient. Okay, so let's take the linear gradient from the SVG only. So okay, linear gradient. Okay, let's defines the definitions. Okay, definitions inside this, it would be linear gradient. Okay, so it will be linear gradient, and we will give the ID as grad here, and we will give the linear gradient from x1 y1 x2 y2. Okay, so in our case the x2 would be 100. Okay, because we are moving from x1 to x2. Okay, so we have to show the gradient from here to here. Okay, x1 to x2. Okay, so now let's add the stop. Okay, let's add the offset at 0, and let's add the stop color as green, and here 1, make it red. Okay, and let's pass the ID here, stroke ID. It would be the URL, and we will pass the ID. Okay, now you can see this green and red here, and we can add one more breakpoint here, like 0.5, and make it yellow. Okay, okay, yellow. Okay, now you can see. Now we have to animate this path. So for that, we are going to use the animated probes. Okay, so let's take a const animated probes, which will be import from the reanimated as use animated probes, and we are going to animate the uh, stroke dash offset. Okay, so now let's check how it will work. Okay, stroke dash offset, let give the value 10. Okay, you can see uh, we can see the offset here as 10. If we provide the 20, if we provide the 100, okay, if we provide the 200, okay, you can see the offset value. So we are going to animate this value. Okay, but we want it to fill it from the this side, so we will provide the negative value here. Okay, negative 200. Okay, now you can see it is filled from this side. Okay, empty from this side. Okay, now to animate the probes, we can use the animated probes here, and we can pass the animated probes from the above. So the animated probes here is straight dash offset. So I guess this spelling is wrong here. Okay. Okay. So now for calculating the dash offset according to the percentage filled. So let's suppose we have the 30% of we want this to be filled till 30%. Okay. So we already know the circumference, and the length of the 30% would be 30% multiplied by circumference. Okay. So let's suppose let's take it as LPH alpha. So alpha would be the percentage value, the progress. Okay. So let's take one more argument, progress, and take it as use shared value as 0. Okay. So it would be progress dot value multiply by circumferences. So value multiply by circumference. Okay. So this is our alpha. Okay. Let's see if our progress is 30%. Okay. Why it is not animating? Let's reload it again. Okay. Alpha is okay. Progress 30 divided by 100. Okay. Now you can see it's 30%. So now we have to calculate it according to the circumference. So this would be total circumference minus this alpha. Okay, so make it as like circumference minus alpha. Now you can see this is the filled with the 30%. Okay, previously you can see we have passed it the 30%, but it is filled 30%. Like if we make it negative, then still it would be filled 70% instead of 30. So we have to like subtract this length from the total circumference. Okay, so this would be circumference minus alpha, and we will make this value as negative. Okay, now you can see this is 30% filled. Now we want it to be the animated, so let's take the use effect method, and let's update the progress dot value is with timing. Sorry, with timing, and it would be progress dot value, and duration would be 1000, and easing would be easing dot in out, and it would be easing dot ease ease. Okay, now we'll see. Let's reload it again. Okay, okay. Let's make it 0 initially and provide the default value is 30. Okay, now reload it again. Okay, you can see the animation here. Okay, so we have completed our the arc. Now let's understand how these values are working here. Okay, so let's suppose you want the arc which is less than the 180 degree, like arc from here to here. Okay, so let's see. Uh, Suppose I want the arc from here to here. So let's see, this angle is 45. Suppose this is 45, and same for this one. This is 45. So it would be the pi, total pi minus 45. Okay. So the let's make it as pi minus 45, and this one also the pi into pi minus plus 2 pi plus 0.25. Okay. Now let's see how does this look. Okay. Now you can see it has cut off, but we have provided the correct value of the our angles according to this diagram. Now let's change this value. Okay, as you can see, let's first change this one. Okay, now you can see as soon as we made it the less than 180 degree, then it automatically created the path uh, according to our start angle and end angle, which is from this to this. Okay, so you can play with these values, and you can customize your arc according to your requirement. Okay, so for now we are going to make it like this only. And for the rotation, if you want to see the rotation, okay, let's make it the 45 degree. You can see there is no effect here, but you will be able to see if I increase the one of the radius. Suppose I made it one. Okay, let's make it 10 or plus. Okay, it would still be circle. Let's make it 10 and increase its size to 300. Okay. Now, if you see, if I make it 0 again, then the shape is like fine. But if I make it 45, then it rotates according to the x-axis. If I make it 90, it's again 135. Okay, it's rotated this side. Okay, so you can play with these values, or you can create the like uh, arc according to your requirements. Okay, so we can add like the animate button here. Let's add touchable opacity, and let's make it text style. Let's width 120, height 60, justify content, center, line items, center, and background color, background color. Let's colors dot primary, and here you can see animate. Okay, so let's color to white. Okay, so here you can see the button. Okay, okay, here you can, now you want to like randomly create the number or animate it according to that. So you can see here we have created this on press, handle animation. Let's create this function, handle animation, const handle animation, and we can pass the value here, which is number. Okay, and instead of doing an use effect, we can do this here, and we will change this to value. Okay, and what would be this value? We will generate this value randomly. Okay, so it will be math dot floor, then math dot round dot value. So let's make it 101. Okay, so let's click on animate. Okay, okay, you see it's working fine. Now you want to like uh, give it a round shape here. So here is one property, stroke line cap. You can make it as round. Okay, you can see it's rounded. And you can also like create one text here, and you can update the text here. The video is going to be too long, so I won't be creating that text, but I will be implementing or like pushing the code on the GitHub. I will implement that text here, and also I will add the little indicator at the start of our this bar, this arc. Okay, this field arc. We can add the indicator here. Okay, so and you can do more. You can create the arc accordingly. You don't have to search through like documentation or the other videos. This is the basic formula for creating the arc. Okay, and that's it for this video. Let me know if you are confused at any like in any of this step. I will explain it again, or you can directly contact me on the LinkedIn. Okay, and I will be sharing the link for this code in the description. Okay, okay, bye. See you in the next.